So in this world, is it better to have lots of money, or is it to follow God? I think you know where I'm going with that one. It's to follow God, right? Well, here at Bride of Rays, we've been looking at some Proverbs. Today I got some more. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 more Proverbs for you before we're done. Look at that, man. We better get started then. We better get started today because we don't want to mess around. So, Proverbs 19:1. Better is a person who walks in his integrity than one who's crooked in speech and is a fool. And Proverbs 28:6. Better is a poor man who walks in his integrity than a rich man who is crooked in his ways. So they're kind of saying the same thing. A wise person walks with integrity. That's what a wise person does. They do what they say, and they say what they do, even when no one is watching them. They are pure and incorrupt. I just lost my place because I clicked on it. And where else was I? Yes. And they're upright and honest. And so there's the things. We see that in these verses here. Upright, incorrupt, and honest. And they're pure. Pure in their thoughts. That's what a good person does, even if they're poor, right? So the money part is what we're talking about here. It's better to be poor than have all the riches of the world. So you have the pure, the wise person. On the other side, you have a person who's crooked in speech and crooked in their ways. This person's a fool who does not fear God and therefore lives and speaks this way. They speak like a fool. They live like a fool. They are a fool. The contrast here is about money. It's better to have a little money with integrity than to be rich and be corrupt in what you say and do. Why? Well, there's some problems about that too, which we'll get to. But we can see here that earthly wealth is not as valuable as integrity. That's what it's saying here. Integrity is better than the world's wealth. You want integrity. You want to be true. You want to be incorrupt. You want to be full of integrity, upright. You want to be honest in all that you do and say. And that's what wise people do. That's what people who follow God do. And so that's the difference. It's better to be poor if you're going to have your integrity, than it is to be rich and then have crooked speech and crooked ways. Because those will just end up in destruction in the end. But if you're poor in this life because your integrity, and your integrity causes you sometimes, because the world doesn't want to give you money, they don't want to listen to you. So if you have integrity, sometimes you will be in poorhouse. You'll have poverty because the world will not give you. They'll steal from you. They'll rob you. But if you have integrity, you might lose your job, but you'll still have your integrity. And then your integrity is worth more than the riches of the world. And we'll get to why in a minute. But Proverbs 16:8, turn over there. Better is a little with righteous than great revenues with injustice. Here's a contrast is the same as the last between riches and poverty. It's better to be poor and be a righteous person than to be unjust but have a lot of money. This may be implying that the gaining of the great revenues was ill-gotten. The injustice is what is bringing the great revenues. The temptation to cheat or to cut corners or fudge the numbers is strong, but it's able to be overcome by believers. Righteousness is what is to be preferred. It is more valuable. So your integrity and your righteousness are more valuable. It's more valuable than great revenues. Great revenues with injustice. And so there's the contrast between righteousness and being unjust, not holding to justice. So you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing according to the law. And so it's better to be righteous in God's eyes than to be cheating, to be robbing, to be, changing the numbers a little bit. So there's the contrast, right? Righteousness versus injustice. Let's continue on. Proverbs 15:16. Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble with it. In this proverb, we get the contrast starkly displayed. The question this proverb answers is, what should I desire more, fear of the Lord or great earthly treasure? The answer should be clear, of course. Fearing the Lord is better. Fear of the Lord is better than great treasure. Fearing the Lord is the obvious answer because the great treasure that the rich person possesses is not actually his in the end. This is the Lord's universe, right? That great treasure belongs to the Lord ultimately. You might think you have it, and you can do what you want with it. You might say, soul, you have ample good, laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry. But what happens when God shows up and says to you, fool, this night your soul is required of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be? The rich fool in Jesus' parable should have listened to Proverbs 15:16, and he would have learned it's better to have a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble with it. And really, you can say it's better to have a lot with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble with it, right? Even if you're a rich person, it's better to have the fear of the Lord, right? No matter what, no matter what situation you find yourself in, it's better to fear the Lord. It's always better to fear the Lord than anything else on the other side. If you have fear of the Lord and something else on the other side, you got, okay, I got fear of the Lord here, and then I got, something amazing over here. Well, I want the fear of the Lord because it's always going to win. It's always going to be better. It always wins out. Then turn over to Proverbs 10:2 and then 11:4. Put these two together. It says, treasures gained by wickedness do not profit, but righteousness delivers from death. And then riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. Now, these two proverbs let us know why being a God-fearing person is better than the world. It's better to have all those things. Why is it better to have that? Why is it being better poor than the riches? Why is it better to have your integrity than it is to be unjust and unrighteous? Why is it better to be on this one side? Well, here they are. Here's the answer. The world and its wickedness, with all its wealth, will die. Man has been apportioned by God death for his sin, and after that he must face judgment. After that comes the second death, which is called the lake of fire. Worldly wealth and power will not matter on that day. You will not be able to bribe the one who's completely just. Justice will be served, and there will be no bargaining. But righteousness delivers from death, it says. The fear of the Lord and the righteousness that comes from that, namely the righteousness of Christ, will deliver us from death. Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been there, if you would have been here, my brother would have not died. But even now I know that whatever you ask from God, God will give you. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. And Martha said to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. Oh, really, Martha? Martha, you know that? Where'd you get that from? It's better to be righteous, right? And Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? He asked her. That's from John chapter 11, 21 through 26. Treasures gained by wickedness do not profit, but righteousness delivers from death. That's what Jesus is talking about. Do you believe this? Do you believe that I'm the resurrection life? And whoever believes in me, though he die, yet he shall live. He'll have righteousness. And that righteousness that I give to him will save him, will deliver him from death, will deliver him from death, it says. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath. They don't. They don't get you in the day of wrath of humans or in the day of wrath of God. There's a day of wrath coming, and that will not profit you. So that's the end of our study. Now we know why all these things are better than the world, because in the end, they don't profit you at all. Like all those riches, all those things that you think you're getting here on this world, in this world, and it's better than whatever righteousness and fairness and all that kind of stuff. No, it doesn't profit you anything when it comes to the end of your life. It just doesn't. So it's stupid to go after it. It's foolishness, as the Bible puts it. It's a stupid man. Surely I'm too stupid to be a man if I'm following after that. So that's the end of our study for this week. Come back next time and we'll look at the conclusion of our study.